Hey guys, how you doing? Just put the fire on, just waiting for that to go off nicely, and then gonna have a coffee and a cinnamon bun and have a nice little chill. It's been a pretty nice day today so far. Nice weather, great to get out into the forest and have a little chill. Fire's going nicely now, so that's all good. Got the kettle going on now. Went to the prepper shop yesterday and got myself some maple buns, and I got myself some tea bags as well for the pack, so it's all out in the bag, so I can have a cup of tea or a coffee now whenever I'm out in the wild, which is what I love. Look at that roaring away. Lovely. That'll be boiled in no time. Thinking about building like a little sort of seat down here or something for me to sit on, because it's really nice down here. So I just thought about sort of having, maybe just building a few things just to go in there, because it's quite a nice little area. So I want to talk to you guys a little bit about first aid in the wild. I used to volunteer for St John Ambulance, and I also am a healthcare assistant in the NHS. And over the time I've seen a few videos where people have injured themselves, and the techniques that they use to sort of help their injury worried me a little bit, because of infection and things like that. So like, it's just little things like when you're wiping your cut, you want to just go in one direction and then fold the cloth up or the wipe and then go over again. Don't go over with the same side of the cloth because you're putting infection back into the cut, so that's not going to be helpful for you. Another good thing would be to, when you're bleeding, so like the other day when I cut my thumb, have your thumb and hold it up, or your arm or anything like that, always hold it up, and you're sort of restricting that blood flow from coming out. If it is spurting everywhere, you're going to help yourself by doing that. It's always good to carry a woven bandage on you, or a triangular bandage. So if you do end up, spraining your arm or maybe possibly breaking your arm, you can put yourself into an elevation sling and have your arm up here so that you're nice and comfortable and you won't be affected when you walking around. It's always good as well to have in your first aid kit plasters, micropores tape, maybe some scissors. I would always use tough cut scissors like the paramedics use. Those things go through any material, so they're really helpful. It's also really good to have antibacterial wipes, maybe the ones that don't sting, as the stinging ones isn't the nicest feeling, but the ones that don't sting are really good. You can get them from Boots and places like that. Always good to have them in your pack, as they also help with infection. Another good thing to have on you is just normal bandages, so like everyday bandages, maybe ones that have got a non-adherent pad put into them. So if you do have a cut or a gash, you can put that bandage over that area and just keep it from getting infected and getting soil in it and dirt and things that you don't really want to be getting in there. It's always good as well to carry some paracetamol with you, in case you have a headache, or just you've got maybe aches and sprains, or you have hurt yourself. You can use a paracetamol just to aid that sort of pain, help you along the way through the night. It's handy as well to know CPR. So it's 30 chest compressions to 2 breaths. So 30 to 2, remember that when you're doing it. You can also do it to Staying Alive, I think that's by the Bee Gees. You can do that to CPR, and that will just sort of help you stay in rhythm so that you're doing the right amount. I was always told as well, if you hear crack in, crack on, which is basically isn't what we want to do, but if you're doing CPR and you do hear ribs crack, you are actually pressing at the right amount of pace. You don't want to obviously break someone's ribs, but that's the sort of amount you want to be pushing at, just to achieve the maximum compressions to help the patient when they have stopped breathing. I would also recommend knowing how to stop a bleed, so using a tourniquet. So if you do have a heavy bleed above the limb, so if it's on the leg, maybe just above where it's actually cut, not too close, but quite, maybe about that much, just constrict that limb with a tourniquet, maybe a bit of rope or a bit of paracord, or if you do have an actual tourniquet on you, that's always good to have, and just put that on your leg or your arm, pull it tight, make sure you stop that bleeding, but don't pull it too tight. You want it to trickle a little bit, because you want to know just to keep that limb still going, because you can cause a blood clot if you do and keep it on there for too long. And also, if you have called the paramedics and you do have a tourniquet on, you need to time how long that tourniquet's been on for to let the paramedics know, so that they can obviously assess and carry on with treatment on the limb. Also, there's a saying, if someone's gone a bit pale from shock, there's if they're pale, raise the tail. So if they have gone into shock and they've gone pale, just raise their legs, and you'll sort of bring them back into the room, and the colour will come back in their face and they'll feel a little bit better. Shock happens to any of us. I went into shock when I cut my thumb. I've hurt myself before and not gone into shock. Cut myself this time with the knife, and I went really pale, and I had to sit against the sofa, raise my legs a little bit, and I raised my legs, and I felt a lot better. So raising the tail when they're pale works really well. Also, if they've gone red, raise the head. So if they've gone really red, the blood's flowing the wrong way, you want to raise their head, bring them back up a little bit, and the blood will flow back down. So it's all about balancing their body, but when you are lying down, your heart rate slows down anyway, because you're actually in line, your body's in line, so it's sort of being told to relax, so your body goes into that nice sort of chilled out limp mode. I will be coming back with a more detailed first aid video with CPR and things like that, just to sort of help you guys. But when you're on the wild, the main things are, if you have a cut, make sure, remember to wipe over the wound down or up, but don't go back over it, so don't do that and that. Just a cloth, wipe, fold it, wipe, fold it, wipe, get a new cloth. If there's a bleed and you've put a bandage on it, don't take the bandage off, because that bandage could actually be helping the bleeds. So make sure you put a bandage on. If it's coming through that bandage, put another one on. If it's coming through, put another one on. Obviously limit to how many you put on, but if it is coming through, just put another one on. Don't take it off, because you could actually be making the bleed a lot worse. Again, if there's an object stuck in your arm or your hand or your leg, anywhere in your body, try not to pull it out, because that could also be plugging a bleed. If you pull it out, you could end up having a catastrophic bleed or a catastrophic hemorrhage, which would be a lot of blood, and it'd be very hard to control and get back into control. Also, with a broken leg or anything like that, an arm or a leg, keep it straight. With an arm, obviously have it supported there, but it's obviously still straight. With your leg, you want to keep it straight and supported, so you can actually put a log in between the legs and get a blanket or something and strap the leg with the log in between the legs, so it's sort of giving you that nice bit of support, and things like that. Any injuries where you slice your finger and stuff, just remember to you can use I can't remember what it's called now. It will come back to me. But you can use basically a flush, and you can flush out your thumb or your finger or anything that you've cut. Just flush it out with a bit of water. It's basically sterile water. You flush it out with that, and then you want to make sure that the bleeding's slowing down if you can. Like with my thumb, I had to sort of put a tourniquet on my thumb, slowed the bleeding down, managed to get it clean, all the blood off it, managed to get it wrapped, and that sort of did help. If you have got wound closure strips are really good. Putting them over the thing will really help. Just putting over a cut, that'll close a wound up, and that'll help your wounds, so that it won't be too bad, and then you can head to hospital the same day or the next day, depending on what you're doing. If you burn yourself, it's always good to have some burn gel on you. But if you're by a river and the river's cool, just cool the burn off into the river. I find that really good, because when you obviously having something cold on your burn, it's really helpful, and it will just cool the burn down, and it may stop blistering and things like that, which won't be helpful. So yeah, anything with burns, always keeping it cool. Don't put anything like don't put anything like cotton on it or anything that's got fibers, because the fibers can get into the burn, and then when it's in the burn, it's going to cause lots of nasty infections possibly, and you've got loads of bits in there. It's going to be very painful to clean out, so keeping your burn clean is really essential to keeping that infection away. So they're just a few first aid tips from me. If you have any questions, please write them down in the comments. Yeah, thank you all for watching this video. I hope the sort of tips have helped. Obviously I will be doing a more detailed video on first aid in the wild, and how to sort of help yourself if events do happen, as we are dealing with axes and knives and things, so injuries can occur quite often. It's quite a high risk activity, so it's good to have those things in place, so when you do injure yourself, then it's good to have the knowledge of knowing what to do, just to save yourself infections or anything worse. And also you could possibly save someone's life as well. Having life-saving skills will be really, really essential, not just for yourself, but for others around you. Got my maple bun from the prepper shop. I've got to have a little look. That's the maple bun. I had one last night, but it tastes different outside. That's really nice. I'll put the link below for the prepper shop, where I get all my stuff from. They're really good. These are really good. Yeah. I don't know. There we go. Bun, maple, all that. It's alright, that. So if you haven't already, it'd be really good if you could subscribe. If you want to comment as well, that's all good. Thanks for tuning in, guys.